No junk. I think we are live. Perhaps. In like 2 seconds. Alright. Looks good. What's going on, my friends? Happy Friday! Congratulations! You made it through another week! Holy cow! That's huge! This day and age, take the wins as they come. Getting through another week is certainly cause célèbre, you know? Pardon my French. Anyways, good morning. It is still morning where I'm at. Do I have my book? No. So, let's see. Excerpts. Orchestral excerpts are going to be some of the main focus for today. Also got Strauss concerto. Need to run through it. Can I tell y'all? The past couple of days, I've been working it up because I think juries are starting to be scheduled, which is terrifying. But the Strauss concerto is really starting to come together. Dare I say, knocking on wood, don't want to jinx anything, but like it almost feels coherent from start to finish. Like a good one shot of it is possible for jury, for recital, for audition, maybe, hopefully, we'll see. But hope y'all are having a great end of your week. Want to hear about all your fun weekend plans? And like, I've been doing a lot of exercises, usually in the third practice of the day, in the mid-afternoon, where I've been really working out the range, my low range, in particular connecting it and making sure that, because a lot of the excerpts that we're working through, Mahler's, for example, Mahler 3, right, goes between all the way down there, all the way down there. The range is there after having just come from, blazing high, an A above the staff. In true Mahlernese? I don't know. In Mahler style, But the slurs from the low down ones. Those in particular, I felt like, even just now today, I don't think there's been a hiccup. I don't think there's been a hiccup as I've been going and navigating that super low range. That's a recent development. That's something that we've intentionally been working on. Yo, what's up, Blue Lambu? How you doing, my friend? Why did you get back into French horn? That's a wonderful question and not off topic at all. Thank you for that. So my long story short, I started French horn at college as a French horn major when I was 18 in 2010. Um, After a year, got burnt out of it. It was like, there's a whole story there. But switched my major to accounting. I got an accounting degree after that, a CPA license, worked 8 years in tax, whatever. Had a bit of a burnout slash breakdown sort of thing a few years ago. And since then been trying to figure out what else to do, because tax and accounting for me just is not it anymore. So I'm going back to finishing my education on horn. I would love to be able to play professionally. I would love to be able to teach. Don't know exactly where, what path we're going to be taking. But I still have probably 2 more semesters of instruction here before we have to figure that out. So, yeah. What's up, Professor? Woot! Friday time, woot! Hell yeah. You're also trying to figure out what you want to do. Is that true? I don't. Forgive me if I'm misremembering, but I don't know that we've had that discussion. What is? Are you coming from something? Do you have something that, because I know all these instruments, your trumpet and such. Are you trying to be musical or whatever? Or what is your field, my friend? You can do private lessons. I've heard that makes good money. Yeah, absolutely. The thing for me, so this is, I've been playing since like November-ish, December, I think was somewhere in there. I would not feel good about taking on a student right now, just because I'm still like remembering all the stuff I forgot over the last 15 years, you know what I mean? But definitely I would love to be able to take on a student or two, or whatever, and get myself out there. And because it's also, as I'm practicing and I'm basically coming from zero in November, I feel like that's a good perspective to have as a teacher, potentially with teaching someone who's going to be going through that same sort of thing themselves. So yeah, I would love to be able to do that in a bit. Right now I'm just trying to kind of get myself back to playing shape and doing taking auditions as well. There's a local symphony in about a month and a half, maybe 5 to 6 weeks. They're probably going to have auditions. I'm going to try out for their sub list, and hopefully not get laughed off the stage. That's that's kind of my goal for that one. I'm in the middle of a bachelor's for wildlife conservation. Don't know if I want to do it anymore. I gotcha, dude. Can I be real with you? I was looking into education, degrees and stuff. Not wildlife conservation specifically, but like environmental engineering or like environmental management, stuff like that. Like stuff for conservation, the environment. Green energy was like top of the list for me, but I wasn't able to get into find a program that was around here or online that I was happy with or whatever. But like honestly, if I wasn't doing horn, I would be. Your program sounds exactly right up my alley. But I understand it's not even. Music's been calling me a lot over the last year. I have no music education, but beyond just bearing class, never even took music theory. Well, my friend, the best time to do that was 15 years ago. The second best time is right freaking now. And I obviously I don't know your situation, other than just our interactions here or whatever. But like, I can tell you, for me, if I had never stopped music, oh man, like it's not exactly a road that you really want to go down all that much. The what ifs and the but and to be fair, my career in accounting and tax has afforded me the ability to be able to do this. I was able to save up quite a good amount of money to where I'm not having to work right now, and I can focus on my education. So there's that. There's a lot of things that go into it, but man, I have never been happier, more fulfilled, less stressed. Like obviously shit's stressful right now, but like being able to play my horn for I'm playing for like 5-6 hours a day. I love this. I love to be able to like play my horn for 5-6 hours a day, have the the progress that's being made, the potential future prospects, maybe. Um, like it's a night and day from what I was experiencing before, which was stress, burnout, anxiety, imposter syndrome. Although that's still plenty healthy, but yeah, yeah, I would say well, I'll probably leave it at that. I think I've said enough. Um, might be able to teach music at the elementary school. That would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know about your state. I think in Florida you just have to have a bachelor's degree and then like pass a teaching certification. So like, if you were able to get a teaching certificate or license or whatever the case may be in your locality, you might be able to with a degree of any kind, and then special take a concentration of music. You got a passion, you want to teach I'm sure opportunities like that exist. That would be freaking cool. And then you get to deal with all of those fourth graders playing recorder. Oh my god, because you don't get enough of that at home, I'm sure. Uh-huh. Might want to rethink things a little bit, but that would be awesome, dude. Sincerely. I hope that, if it's something you want to do, man. Instrument making and repair would be fun too. I've had a couple simple wooden flutes, recorked clarinets, and repair. I remember you repaired the flute. That's true. Um, and there might be. I was looking into music or instrument repair schools not too long ago, actually, and I don't know that there were too many around me, but there might be some. I feel like there was some like out in the western plains sort of area that I just kind of dismissed because I'm in Florida. But like, dude, instrument repair would be so like I would love to go to a shop and just like work on instruments all day. That would be so much fun. Like there's so many like musically tangential professions and vocations that I'm like thinking of that would be so much fun to do. Repair would be awesome. Teaching would be awesome. Obviously, playing would be awesome. Recording, sound engineering, acoustic treatment, and whatever. That would be really freaking cool. Like, there's so many things. Electronic music, composition. I've been sort of noodling around in, not in any sort of meaningful way, but like that could all be. My mother-in-law was offered the music teacher position a few years ago. She doesn't have a degree. So there's nothing standing in your way then, my friend. That would be freaking awesome. Dude. I would imagine she has like teaching certification or experience otherwise, like, something or maybe they just need bodies. I know the teaching profession right now is not in a great way. Especially for us in Florida, it's been under attack since I've been in school. My mom used to be a teacher in the public school system when I was in school. She's a travel nurse now and is doing quite well for herself, and not having to deal with the headaches of the administration and the parents and the the folks out in Tallahassee. But anyways, that sounds like a very not only fulfilling but like realistic option. Could be worth looking into. I don't know. And as much educational content is out there these days, like there's plenty of music theory ways to learn, like music theory, music education, teaching concepts, things that would help you like that, just on like on YouTube. I've learned so much about music theory and composition. 8-bit music theory is really great, Brad Harrison music. There's a few like someone Bennett music as well. Like they do all kinds of. There's a lot of good education out there. My wife is a nurse manager making good money. That's why I've been able to focus on school all these years, dude. Congrats! I mean, that's awesome. That's great, and that's the beauty of having a partner and someone able to do. Because right now, I mean, I have my own savings from everything. My girlfriend works. She's a social worker, and she's able to, you know, she's got an income helping to do some things around here as well while I'm, you know, doing school as well, and all. And then doing the house, you know, so that we can move in together and, you know, further consolidate and bring down expenses and help, you know, things like that. It's a big, a massive, a huge, I have no words big enough to describe just how massive of a tailwind, we'll say, it is to be able to, you know, pursue things. Like I wouldn't be pursuing horn right now, I think, if I was not with my girlfriend and she was not encouraging me and, you know, helping as she's been able to. Absolutely massive. Whew, it's hot in here, y'all. It is hot in my room. Oh, and you know why I forgot to turn down my AC? Anyways, let's actually play some shit. So my trills have not been quite as good recently. I think I need to spend a little more time on them slowly. But I would like to start, I think, with some Don Quixote. This is the second horn part for Richard Strauss's Don Quixote, Variation 7. All right. 1, 2, 3. It's that one. It's that E right there. I always want to go down too low. I guess I'm hitting the B natural below the E. That's really stupid. And that's one problem that problem to having a much stronger low register than I've ever had is now nailing those partials and knowing exactly where those are. There's so much more real estate to work with. Getting the right one in the middle of the register, a little bit more tricky. But it's just an octave above the original one, so I need to have the original one. It's literally just an octave above that. Done. I'm playing the offbeats. The metronome click and subdivision were backwards in my head, so I think I was playing dot 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 the click 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 as opposed to the doink doink doink, which doesn't matter, it's the same, but having the visual representation of it not be in line really messes with me. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna run it again. This it took a minute to sort of get in the groove and remember how this whole thing works. Alright, that felt better. Now, putting the whole thing together and running. And the horn keeps running, running, and running, running. You know what I'm talking about? Black Eyed Peas. It's a shame kids these days don't know their classic rock, classic hip-hop, classic pop music, whatever. That retro vintage Black Eyed Peas shit from 25 years ago. Maybe just 20 years ago, but still, that'll make you feel old. Okay. 1, 2, 3. That was awful. Awful. Not, whew. Definitely need to run that shit again. I was just about to get started on my homework and remembered I need to run an errand. Just when you're about to lock in, buckle down, hunker down, and make progress, like, monkey wrench gets thrown into the gears. That stuff, dude, like, that happens to me all the time, and not rarely, but it's so difficult for me to recover from. Like, if I'm motivated and ready to go and, like, and boom, 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 I'm ready to go, and, like, all of a sudden I have to turn, 90 degrees and do something completely different, it's like, well, I'm not doing that anymore today. Commiserations. My kids know some of the old stuff and some foreign stuff. Hey, told them songs are out of Eurovision Song Contest, and they get excited and ask if they can watch some. That's freaking awesome. I haven't followed Eurovision a whole lot, but I know, like, what's that dude's name? Really, really tall Icelandic dude who put out a song. Oh, shoot. What was his name? I don't know if he won. Think About Things? Dothy Freyr, I think is his name. Yeah, Think About Things. That's a good song. I think that was Eurovision. Hell yeah. Although, isn't this year's, like, last I saw, there were a bunch of countries refusing to participate. Commentary sort of thing. That's the last I heard about it. And it's been a while since I heard about it. But who knows? This day and age, nothing is sacred, truly. Right. just forgot all my fingerings. Yo, Endor, what's going on, my friend? Good to see ya. How you doing? Happy Friday. Hopefully you're able to enjoy Friday and the weekend with as busy as you are. Please tell me you're able to rest a little bit. I don't pay that much attention to it, just listen to the songs. That's really cool. I haven't listened to the songs, but I found the one Think About Things, and it was really good. Ooh, wasn't there one a couple years back, an Englishman, I think? Oh shoot, Quiet Riot, Tiny Riot, Tiny Riot. Sam Ryder. I think he was a Eurovision participant as well. Great. Oh, absolutely phenomenal vocals. Indeed you are. Well, excellent. I am glad to hear it, my friend. Because I tell you, I'm going to be resting this weekend. I've been, this week, it's been surprisingly, full of things. It on paper was not supposed to be that busy of a week, but it has ended up being a lot. So I'll tell you, I am excited. And today even, I'm going to get started a little bit early. As soon as we're done with practice this practice, I'm going to go pick up some lunch. I'm going to mow my girlfriend's yard. I'm going to bake a loaf of bread because we're out of bread and we need sandwiches. And then we're going to practice again at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to be awesome. We're putting in the work. All right. Let's see if we can do Don Quixote and not fuck it up this time. Okay. That one might have been, might be about as close as that's going to get today. But the low B flat bar, that needs some ironing. Excuse me. I think that's going to be a subject for my next lesson is how to get, because that low G really just doesn't want to speak. And it's not just in this one either. It's also in pieces such as Herman Neuling's Bagatelle. This run down here, it's G to G to pedal. And that low G, especially articulating, is not usually very pretty. Page 2. Excuse me. What the fuck are these notes? Dang, that actually kind of didn't sound too bad. The 2-octave jump from pedal C to third space. I love this piece, dude. that's enough noodling for the moment. Just for now. Nice little palate cleanser after Don Quixote. Let us turn left, which is the proper way to turn. Shostakovich. Shostakovich 5 is one that I have sort of stopped working out recently in favor of like Mahler and Strauss and Wagner, Granger, etc. Need to double check just while I'm thinking about it. Because as soon as audition rep list gets posted, I'm doing that. But still, this is for the 2025 auditions. So, we're safe, at least for now. I would imagine Shosti till I think the short call. I think they've requested the short call. Last year, Brahms. Ooh, we might do some Brahms later, not at the moment. Where's my Brahms? I know I have it printed. Brahms. Oh, the piano concerto. No, not the piano concerto. Yeah. The Brahms 3. Yeah, we'll probably noodle around on that a little bit. First, Shostakovich. We gotta eat our... That's a bad example because I actually like to eat vegetables. But we gotta eat our vegetables in our main course before we get into the treats for dessert. So it is said, so it shall be done. Now that we're back in the groove of things, that was just warm up. That one doesn't count. First try. Here we go. Here we go. Good thing is, in an audition, you don't have to rely on the first try. They give you a redo. That's not really how it goes. You have to get it first time. I am being silly. Okay. Not the best it's ever been. But the low stuff sounds like it's at least there. I'm not fighting my face trying to get the notes to sound and to be like, you know, decently full. Now, whether or not the resonance, my intra-oral cavity is large enough, my vowels are big enough, that's still TBD. But we're kind of getting to the point, and this is the sort of thought process, the benchmark minimum that I've kind of been setting for myself is the point where the correct notes are expected. And then on top of that, the next level stuff is the dynamic, the articulation, the style, the tone, all of the things that separate, a good to great player to someone who's going to go and win auditions, right? Those are the things that are going to separate. So we'll see. Should do this with a click. Didn't I have Shasti? Nope, but I think it's supposed to be like 92. No sub. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. I'm taking it way too fast. I always take it way too fast. Every single always. Let's try it. One. Okay, but at least for the first bit, doing that as slowly, because the Poco Animando, I don't want to say it's the trivial or easy part of the excerpt, because it's not, but it's impossible to do with a click and get the tempo, and then it's just like boring to do it at that tempo. Okay. Excuse me. I think that's not too bad for Shostakovich. The two places I wanted to go for my errands aren't open till the top of the hour. Oh, the entire universe is against you, my friend. But I checked the pawn shop and walked out with a translucent blue N64 controller. Hey! That's freaking awesome, dude. Hell yeah. So it's not a complete waste. I was just about to go on a thing like it's one obstacle after another. Like it's a wonder you're able to get anything done. You're a better person than I am for it. And I still think that's true, but like now you don't need the words of encouragement because you already got the tasty treat at the end of the rainbow. Freaking sick ass N64 controller. I hate the N64 controller though, because I never had one growing up. I had the first one I was allowed to have was a Game Boy Color and then a PlayStation 2. In between that, there was nothing. So I never had an N64. Like I never got good at using the controller. It's just so weird to me that like it's a thing. I don't know. I have no nostalgia, no proficiency, no great love for the N64 controller myself. I do love just playing games on just Super Nintendo controllers when I can. I have some of those for my retro gaming experiences, but yeah, N64 is just so awkward to me. Play the evil music? Clementine bed sheets. What music is evil? Have we talked about this and I'm forgetting? My apologies if that's the case. Something like Little Mahler 1, or what else is evil? I don't know that I remember the evil stuff. Oh, actually, no, I don't have it with me. No, I don't remember. What else is evil? Like the Imperial March from Star Wars, but I don't think I know that one. Maybe. Blue Avian sounding good. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I appreciate the kind words. It feels good today, I will say. And it's been a result. I will tell you. This is the secret. If you also want to sound good, air. I have been focusing strictly on my air support over the past week or so since my last lesson. And also, I've been practicing like a motherfucker. I've been getting up, starting my first practice at like 7 o'clock, going until about 8:30, having breakfast, taking a break until, stream time, practicing for, hour or two, take a break, and then from between 3 to 6, somewhere in there, having another 2 hours. Like, we're putting in the work. And it feels like things are starting to come along. So I appreciate that you also think so. Thank you. As the N64 was the first 3D console, they underestimated the level of control you would need, so they didn't have as many buttons and have them all accessible. Yeah, and wasn't there there was, as the console evolved through its lifespan, the joystick part became more, its use became more fleshed out. Like, I'm thinking of like Mario 64, I think was one of the first N64 games, right? And it was sort of like, but then later in the console, it sort of branched into other, because like, I don't know, just having one joystick is so clunky, and then the C buttons, and it's like to change the angle and stuff. It just was not great. I love, even to this day, my favorite is the DualShock. I'm a PlayStation guy. For my money, the DualShock feels way better in my hands than an Xbox controller. But I've also been, I've been using DualShock controllers, oh goodness, since the PS2. So, the N64 controller was used to be used with the middle and right. Is that right? Middle and right for 3D, and left and right for 2D. I never knew. I just assumed it was middle and right for like all, but yeah, if you were going to use the D-pad, that's true. Maybe that might be the source of some of my confusion. I did not have a child's elastic brain when I was first figuring it out, and so I got no idea. 64 is the launch title. That makes sense. Like, what else would it have been? Not like it is Crash or Crash. Here I'm thinking like in my head, friggin' yeah, it wouldn't have been Crash Bandicoot. Duh. GameCube and Xbox 360 controllers are the best. We can agree to disagree. And GameCube was another console that like I just have never never played at all. I have never used a GameCube controller outside of like once or twice. My younger siblings prefer it for playing Smash Bros. Instead of like the Joy-Cons or whatever. So like I used a GameCube controller maybe like once or twice. I couldn't tell you what anything on there is, but like Xbox, no. Xbox is incorrect. But that's okay. That's the you know, everyone's individuality and personal preferences are what makes this human experience so rich and so diverse and so exciting. True story. Okay, my transposition is really bad, especially for horn and C. Please hold. Da da da. That's da da da. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why I don't play Brahms excerpt all that much. Okay. Fuck you, Brahms. Let's see, what is it? 11:51. So we got about a little more than an hour at most. Can I tell you what I've kind of been dying to play? That I know we have not in a while. It's been a minute. This is the Strauss Concerto, but not Ricard. It's the Franz. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? That young Franz Strauss Concerto. So forgive me for this is going to be rusty. I haven't played this in a month or two, probably. If I could hit the right first note, that would help. Honestly, not too bad. I thought it was going to be much worse. But that's the benefits of making sure that your proper air is there and supported. It translates to everything you play. Is if you got it, everything else just kind of falls into place. The embouchure, the articulation. Can I tell you, the articulation has never been better. Crisp and clean, and I can do like staccatos with proper air support because my tongue's just like pop. You know, I feel like I'd been having lazy air support, and as a result, a lazy articulation and tongue for a lot of things that should be staccatoed and, you know, articulated. Pop, you know, little pops and dips and and all that. That's right. That's a good one. And now comes the fun part. Oh, goodness. I'm probably not going to noodle around on this one too much, the end of the first movement here, but like, oh, it's so much fun. Let's see. Shoot. I'm actually sweating in here. Yo, what is up, beast? Thank you so much. Oh, that's pretty rusty, honestly, and a little rough, but from a month, 2 months ago when last I played it, definitely much better. And thank you, Mdor, for the hydration. You are absolutely correct. It actually doesn't sound as bad as I thought it was, but it's rust, or it's like it's a little sloppy. I should slow it down, but also that's not fun. Jeez. All right, I need to turn this fan on for a second because like, whoo, I am actually sweating like crazy. It's 77 degrees in this room. Give me a minute, y'all. Oh, turn off this light. Oh, much better. Yo, that sounds like maybe I'm crazy. I feel like that kind of works. And those B flats are hitting. Since when do those B flats hit in the middle of a thing? Uh-oh. That's a little aggressive for Nightbot. I apologize, Professor. Yeah, no, 77, 52% humidity. I usually keep the it's pretty gross. I keep the AC on 78 nowadays just because, like, it sucks. But normally I'm not, like, here in the middle of the day when it's the worst. But, like, my doors are not very weather tight. I'm getting them, the guy's coming out next week to finalize my order and make sure that it's all schlepped up. Because as soon as that's the case, I'm going to, like, there's brand new insulation and air ducting in the ceiling. The HVAC system is new. The windows are good. So, like, really, once the exterior doors are good, this house should be a lot more airtight. And I think I'll be able to keep the AC low without incurring a $250 power bill, which is not great. So for the time being, I have to be a happy little gator, swamp puppy, and just grin and bear it. But I was standing out in a windy 40 degrees yesterday for almost an hour in short sleeve shirt and pants and boots. You are insane. You are like, dude, because there's always those people that no matter how cold it gets outside, they're in like a hoodie and shorts, a hoodie and cargo shorts very, very often, right? Whenever I was in school, those people would show up and it would be like 50 degrees. Everyone's in their, heavy coats and jeans, and, everyone's in, like full, and there's one dude out there in like athletic shorts. And he's like, oh, I don't think it's that cold. And like, he's normal. In Florida, that person's actually like normal. Because it's not like that cold, they're right. They're still the, caricature, but they are not wrong. Now, if they were out in the plains towards, the border, right, and it hits a little different. I could do that. I just tend to wear pants in the winter just in case. Just in case I feel a little nippy. Dude, I can't even imagine. Like, seriously, I gotta put on my jacket when it's like literally in the mornings at 65 degrees. At like as the low, 60 to 65 degrees, and I am bundling. I can't deal with that shit, dude. No shot. My girlfriend keeps her house at 73, and I have to have socks, light jacket, bundle up with a blanket if I'm just hanging out on the couch. Like I am a chilly boy. I don't get y'all. Oh my god, I can't stop burping. Excuse me. That is a difficult slur. From B flat to the E natural at the bottom of the staff. I forgot the fingers there. I was doing. All right. Cool. That's pretty good for a concerto that I have not played in the month. But, all right. Now, as is often the case, and I wanted to noodle on that and then go back to excerpts intentionally because I wanted to play some high stuff, and now these excerpts are going to be low. Whole point being to really nail home and iron out the low embouchure with the high embouchure. Make sure that, you know, no matter what register we're playing in, we're able to. Because what I have difficulty with is immediately after playing high, it's hard for me to go down and play low, which sucks in Mahler 3 because that's all it is. But that is tremendous progress. It might not seem like it, but after having just played Franz Strauss Concerto and going up to B flats and playing high stuff, to be able to have that slur from the F to the low F, that does not happen. That has not happened for me before. This might be literally the first time that's ever happened, and y'all are bearing witness. That feels good. that feels real good. Holy cow. I wasn't expecting it to actually like hit so well. Granted, I think it stopped the first time, but after that it was like we remember what we're supposed to do, and that's what we're trying to lock in is the memory, the muscle memory, so that I don't have to think about how I fashion my mouth, how I situate my mouth or jaw or tongue or what have you. Because the ultimate goal is to be effortless, essentially, is how my professor describes it. It's playing without consciously thinking about what your mouth's doing, because your mouth knows what it needs to do. Your mouth, jaw, face knows what it needs to do. You're focusing on the musicality, on, don't even focus on the air support unless, you have air problems. But like for me, I'm focusing on my air, I'm focusing on my face and on the music. And so eventually I need to stop focusing on the face, trust that the face does what it does. I don't quite have that trust yet, but and of course, as soon as I say something, it just, decides to shit out on the second go around. But another thing that I struggle, and this is just me thinking out loud, verbalizing my sort of practice process as I allow my chops to think about what they've done. Shit, what was I? Dadgummit, did I just whoop, give my chops a minute to think about what they've done. The reason that the whole thing. How are the lip slurs today? Flexibility exercises and stuff, because I actually did those this morning on my first hour of practice. I did the tuba flexies and the lip trills and the some flexibilities for the first hour of practice before stream. I'm trying to do like exercises like that more, I don't know. I just feel like they're not as entertaining for stream, but I do donkeys are my warm up for the third hour or third practice session, which is slow donkeys is what it is. And they are hugely beneficial, but like annoying. Like that, it's 8, 4, 2, 1. And you're supposed to be able to do them all in one breath, which if I'm doing them slow to iron out the registers, I'm not doing, but like, so I do those. But yeah, so I like to do, playing music for y'all as opposed to just going through like drills and stuff. But if that's, if you want to, I could certainly do some of those. And I have some that I'll do a little bit. But the point for Mahler 1, the reason that I wanted to do, it's different playing it twice than it is just playing it once. Because if you play it through once, you hit the F slurs and you're like, okay, I hit it, I'm good, I'm done. but the music calls for it a second time. So if you can't come out of it, or for me, I have not a problem, but it's playing the same phrase after the low F slurs is there's just something, it's not quite as clean or as good as if I'm starting fresh on it. And so I have to be able to do it both times. It's good to practice that way. Not bad. Not bad. Definitely still some ironing out to be done, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And you know what? You know what? Let's do some good flexibility lip trill or lip not trill slur exercise. That's a good idea. Let's do the tuba actually. I'm going to play them correctly. That's how the lip slurs are today. Unfortunate. The lip slurs today are unfortunate. And also, you know, it's different doing them 45, 75 minutes into practice than at the start. That is also valid, but like, excuse me. Alicia. I appreciate that. Good to see you. How are you? Happy Friday! All right, there's the lip slurs. There's the lip slurs for the day. Not great, Bob. I will say. A car got set on fire, so we had a fire evacuation yesterday. What in the world? What is happening? How is society degrading so much? Or like, is the grade school experience just fundamentally different from when I was in school? Holy cow, I never had a series of school days that were so eventful. Sorry to the slurs, not the car fire. Right. What the hell? Like, Jesus, I can't imagine what school has to be like now, as like after COVID and everything else. Like, y'all kids today, I'm sorry to say it, I hate to say it, but I think y'all are just a little screwed for the future. Granted, so am I, and so is everyone else on the planet, but that's a commentary. Don't get me started on a rant. Today's the last day of school, so I think kids are getting bored and want to be out of class. Y'all are out of school at the end of March already? Holy cow. That's awesome. Congrats, you made it through another school year. Whenever I was in school, our last day was like the first week of June. Spring break. Spring break. That makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, I don't know if y'all are on like a year-round school schedule or like a certain quarters. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it is that time of year. Duh. Sorry, this is practice brain. We're kind of in the thick of it. I was dropping something off at the school for my daughter, and one staff member came into the office and said, "We have a 911 situation." Uh-oh. And then the secretary stepped out and called 911. Uh-oh. I guess if they're not like, locking down and, if there's time to calmly call 911, maybe, yeah, non-emergency, but like, still, any 911 situation at a school, regardless of, whether barely or, whatever, that's not great. That's not great. I don't even remember. I don't even think we had like any real like big emergency or anything when I was in school. Like, we had fire drills, we had like lockdown drills, and there was a correctional facility that was a few miles up the road that sometimes there would be a prisoner escape and we'd have to lock down, but nothing ever like came of that. Unless I'm misremembering, I don't think we had any real, there were some fights on occasion. But yeah, one of the, I guess, blessings, if you can call it that, of going to a very, very small high school out in the middle of literally nowhere. My graduating class, for example, was like 70 kids, I think. My town has fewer people than some high schools, right? Like half the population of some high schools. There's like 1,700 people in my town. I went to college with some people whose, high schools had 2,000 people, right? So it's like, it's a weird situation. A high school with 3,000 kids, sure, right? Yes, that is a fundamentally different experience than I had. Holy shit, I literally cannot even imagine. Like, you have people at your high school that you've been with, for 4 years, for example. Do you know everyone in your graduating class? Is that possible? Like, I knew everyone, I think, in my graduating class, probably like in high school when I was there, or at least the people that I interacted with. But like 3,000 kids. I would not know my graduating class. I just don't think it's possible. That's crazy. Such a strange. You have 1,000. Even still, like straight up an order of magnitude, over mine. Holy moly. That's crazy, dude. $1,000 in the graduating class alone. Oh, I gotcha. Jesus Christ. That's literally an order of magnitude over. Yeah, I was, yeah. Because we didn't even have 100. I think we might have been at 70 on graduation day, but I think it was actually in the 60s, but I just say 70. Holy shit. That's so crazy. I think there might be 1,000 kids from K to 12 where I live. Yeah. That's closer to my experience. I think we had 5 through 12 on one campus, and then K through 4 on the other campus for the elementary school kids. And I think 5 through 12 was like 350, 400, somewhere in there. Maybe it was 450, 500. Because if there's like, yeah, that sounds right. About 450 to 500, I think, from 5 to 12. Sounds about right. Yeah. It was crazy. It was a crazy small town, It's an interesting experience. I will say, for me personally, I would much rather have that experience, professor's experience, than yours, Felicia. Being one of 1,000 in the graduating class, one of 3,000 in the entire school, I think would be like. So I've never really like been a big. I love going to a city, but I'm not a city dweller. Like I don't like living in a city, like a big city, like New York City, Chicago, LA, anything like that. I lived in St. Louis for a little bit, but that's only because St. Louis, as a big city, it feels small because each neighborhood is like, distinct. It has its own character, its own flavor. So I lived, Tower Grove. I spent a lot of time in Soulard. I worked downtown, at the Ballpark Village before it was even built, for the record. I lived out in the county for a year, out in Creve Coeur. In each, it's completely, once, you're in Brentwood, and then you go out to Creve Coeur, it's a completely different, thing. You're out in Forest Park, you go to Central West End, it's a little similar. You go to Soulard, it's completely different. Like, God forbid you go across the river. Don't go to East St. Louis. Never, ever go to East St. Louis. If you go to East St. Louis, you've gone too far. Turn around and head west, my friend. Lest you fall victim to East St. Louisians. I don't know. It's just not a good area of town. It's technically not even in town because it's in Illinois. But anyways, 12:30. Okay. And that's what I mean going from super high to down to super low. It's really hard to do it all in context. I should do octave slurs on this G. That will help establish because these slurs are going to either win me or lose me the audition. Do you ever get really hot while practicing? Every time I practice, I start sweating and get really hot. Yes. As a matter of fact, I think it was actually just before you joined. We were playing the Franz Strauss Concerto. The end of the exposition here, or first movement. Very strenuous. I did not have my fan set up, and it is 70. It's climbed up to 78.4 now. Yeah, I've got a base coat, a base layer of sweat, sort of going on at the moment. Yes. Yeah, but then that's why light cotton shirts. Try and have the fan going now, which is nice. But yeah. The way I think about it is like if I'm not engaged, like for something that strenuous, something like this excerpt Mahler 3, right? If I'm not exerting myself, I feel like I'm not supporting correctly, I'm not blowing enough air, I'm not playing it correctly. These should be strenuous to an extent, right? Like it shouldn't be like I just ran a marathon, oh, I'm dying, my face is about to fall off as soon as, after you're doing this sort of thing. But like it's a physical, it's an aerobic activity just like anything else. Like absolutely. It's hot as hell. And granted, I keep my house probably a little bit warmer than I should or than would really be comfortable, but I also don't want to have a $250 power bill. So we've been through it. It's a whole thing. Trying to relax while playing, but yes, I get so sweaty. And I don't know how it is for clarinet, but it's a little counterintuitive because you do need to be relaxed, play without tension, at least from generally. You don't want to be tense in the neck or like all tight. You want to be relaxed enough to allow your air to sing, right? To sing through your instrument. That comes with proper support, proper face set up and however, but then the rest does need to be, somewhat relaxed, which is it messes with my head because I try and I'm putting in work. I'm trying to be like effort, but also it's like, is it too much effort? Am I tensing? Am I carrying? When I'm playing and I'm doing the high stuff? Is my neck? Are my shoulders? You know? Yeah, right. Especially in the shoulders. There you go. That's. I'm struggling with that. I think. Oh, ow. Yeah. Which actually, this afternoon and tomorrow, I need to start doing. There's a good video series by Dr. Brian Shook on YouTube. He's a trumpeter, and he does the breathing gym, like stretches and all the actual exercises and things like that. I'm gonna start putting that into my routine as well. When I listen to really advanced players, they hardly ever get really exerted. I'm wondering if it's kind of like endurance. Probably to some extent, but at the same time, like I will watch Radek Babarach play Strauss 2 with I forget the orchestra, but an orchestra in Japan, and in the middle of the first movement, he's dripping sweat, sort of a thing too, which might be he's in a tuxedo, he's under the bright lights, nerves and adrenaline is going, that there's that. But like I often see brass players start to sweat conductors, right? Granted they're flying around, so maybe it's not as good of an example, but like yeah, I wonder if it's endurance. Maybe it's even like a some sort of, not a yoga per se, but like a breath and breathing. My horn professor, she has told me that her Apple Watch has given her a low heart rate notification during orchestra rehearsal, because her resting heart rate while playing is like 40 beats per minute. Excuse me? Like that? There's no way. She runs and she lifts really heavy. She does, like, I think those are her physical exercises of choice, and must be working. Low heart rate while playing with a full orchestra, like I literally cannot even fathom how that's possible. I've never not started sweating even in winter. Same. I'll be in the Wind Symphony rehearsals like yesterday, and it's it's like 70 degrees inside. It's chilly inside. If I'm just hanging out, I need a light jacket just to be comfortable. But once I start playing, it's like, okay, it's as if I ran a lap around the house and now I'm warmed up. It's like it is aerobic. It's aerobic to a degree, I feel like. Picking up the uke and just playing a little usually calms me. Same for ocarina and probably others. I hear you. And yeah, so maybe maybe it's a wind. Well, but ocarina is wind, but it's not like, you're not playing your ocarina like you're playing your trumpet, right? Maybe you're not playing in the ukulele. Yeah. So maybe it's a wind, like a heavy wind, because if you're engaging your core and your back and all this to like really hone in on your breath control, that's your entire torso. Kinda. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. And maybe it's endurance. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's Maybelline. Who's to say? That's it. I literally just played this. Why do I not remember Bagatelle? There we go. One of these days I'll spend the time to actually figure out that part of Bagatelle so I can play it all the way through, maybe. But it is not this day, Lord of the Rings heads. You all know what I'm talking about. Actually kind of sounds not too bad. Okay, so there's some noodling. Gotta focus. Gotta get back to focusing. A little bit more of this. It's not as good. That's just objectively true. The only real question is it's 12:45. Got about 15 minutes left before I need to go. I not only skipped breakfast, but I've also technically skipped lunch at this point, and I really need to get lunch. So I've got 15 minutes until lunch. We haven't worked Longren, the Wagner, or the Granger excerpts. Kind of feel like I don't want to. I'll take a look at them later this evening. That's what I'll do. And for now, I think we'll end on the real Strauss that we need to practice today, or at least run through the Richard Strauss First Concerto. Yeah. Okay. And who knows? Maybe we play the second movement. I don't know. Maybe we play the third. The third movement's fun. Ooh, I bet you it sounds better now than it would have the last time I played it too. Strauss one. Here we go. As soon as the water is out of my horn. That would be unfortunate. Bum ba da da dum ba dum. Bum bum ba da da dum. Bum 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 bum. Oh, excuse me. Da 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 dum ba dum. First try, let's go. Not the best. Far from the worst. Really? Not bad. The B flats, I think we're okay. Maybe a little flat, but like they're hitting and they're popping more often than they're not. That feels good. My chops are about dead. The big interval jumps sound pretty good and smooth. Thank you. I always struggle with that on clarinet because we're not supposed to change anything with our mouths. Yeah, I'm guilty of trying to muscle, trying to like use my mouth to make those like the octave slurs here. I think is one of the ones that for me the money, like obviously the B flats are like flashy and whatever, but what makes a good Strauss concerto to me is the that octave slur is just so buttery when it's done well. And that's the beauty of the horn, right? Like that's why the horn is so good. And this is a little music theory for you. It's the harmonic series allowing big slurs like that to hit so many partials in between. For example, if I was to play that, if I was to do that just on first valve here, it would sound like this. There's like 5 or 6 pitches in there that you can skip over on your way to the octave, you know? So it's a it's really cool when it's done, you know? I can't do anything over a 12th smoothly. I mean, hey, a 12th is pretty big. That's over an octave, you know? There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know that... I'm trying to think, because that's 1 octave. I know there's some etudes that I have that are like skips of... that are skips of 2 octaves that are fucking impossible. But not as like a slur. I'm trying to like those at that point it would just be a glissando really, which is something that horn players do and do practice quite a bit because they are so emblematic. They are so what's the word I'm looking for? Representative of the sound typical of horn. It's in our oeuvre, you know. So like one good practice exercise. Doing glisses, you know. Which I don't do as much as I should. I do harmonic series lip slurs and stuff, but I should do more large glissandos. Now that you mention it. Okay. Let's see. The last thing I think to work on today is going to be in the triplet section, there's this one grouping. That F, the one at the top of the... More often than not, I feel like that one sort of cracks a little bit. It doesn't speak as cleanly as I would like for it to. And so I feel like it usually goes bum bum ba da da dum ba 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 da ba da dum. And I would like for it to be the same Okay. That felt pretty good. Honestly, I'm kind of happy with that. I am. All right. And for the record, I don't know if you can tell if my face is a little flush, but I have started to sweat as a result of that. It's the damn truth. Okay. I think that's about good for now up until lunch. I think that's it. I'm starving. I got to get some lunch. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. What a good day of practice. What a good and productive day of practice. That feels like a good day, y'all. And now I get to go. I get to mow the lawn. Can I tell you? It is now 79 degrees in here. I got to turn the AC down. This is absurd. Anyways, like I say, I'll be back for more practice. Y'all already know. Productivity, woo! I need some Hey, you've been trying. The universe is conspiring against you, Professor. Your effort is there, your motivation is there, your heart's in the right place. Sometimes, the world doesn't meet you halfway. You got it, my friend. I know you do. I'll see y'all later, though. Yeah. I'll see y'all later. I gotta stop stalling because I'm so hungry. I need my lunch.